Okay, today we have Tansy out here, which is one of our dogs in training, and is she about 4 months old now, getting pretty close to it, I'd say. So she has already gone through our training program, really. She's still a very young puppy. And we have Kayla, one of our trainers here, and we just want to give a little demonstration on how to get a dog to come when called. So working on recall is super important for you to work with your dog, whether it's trained or whether it's been untrained, and we'll show you pretty much how to get any dog to come when it's called. And typically our dogs usually like to be around people, so it's usually not too hard to get their attention, but one of the most important things you need to do is to first get their attention. One of the biggest mistakes people make is that they try to use this command only when they absolutely need it and when it's a safety concern, like maybe a dog is running into the street or something like that, and it's not very effective if you don't practice this. So it's actually best to start inside or even in just a contained smaller area, like in a fenced-in yard or whatever, or even in your living room. You can practice this when there's no distractions. And if you don't practice recall, it's not going to come in handy when you need it the most, when it's for their own safety. So Kayla's going to demonstrate here. So first, she's gotten her attention with some treats, so she knows it's time to work here. We're going to have some fun with it. We're going to try to make the training session fun. And good, she's even going to stand on the leash a little bit, and so we'll do it from a very, very short distance. This is a great tool to use, is just to stand on a leash. Keeping a leash, even a long leash, is great to use so that they don't break it and have a bad experience with breaking this command. So we work on very short distances at first. And even if your dog comes to you through our training program, you're going to want to do some of these little exercises so that the dog learns that when you say that word come, there's going to be a reward at the end of it, and they're going to want to obey that command. They're probably not just going to obey any random person that walks by and yells the word come, because training a dog, it's like developing a relationship, and they speak their own language and you speak, of course, a different language, and they almost are like learning your accent. And once they learn your accent, then they're going to start really understanding what you're asking. So part of it is the body language, part of it is the tone of voice. So for right now, we're just going to get their attention with treats, and we don't want to give the command until the dog is actually looking at you. So this is perfect. So short distances, she's going to wait till she sees, very excited, saying okay, which is usually what we use as a release word from other commands. And when you say it excitedly, and even if you squat down a little bit, that kind of helps be less intimidating for a dog. It sort of is like the communication of the dog that says you want to invite them into your space. When you squat down, that usually tells most dogs that they should come over to you. So of course we're practicing on stay here as well, so we can actually do the recall.
Okay.
There we go, a little release. Perfect. And so this is good. So now we can probably go to a little bit further distance. So what you would do is you would practice short distances with the leash attached. And you get them to come even just 5 feet towards you to respond to the word come. And then when they do actually come over to you, that's when you give the reward, right when they come up to you. That's how they know they've done the right thing. Perfect. So now we've gotten the game going. A little stay, or a sit, or any other command.
Sit. Stay. Sit. Stay.
You'll notice Kayla's changed her tone of voice and her body language a little bit to help
Tansy.
get Tansy to understand what exactly she wants. So, there we go. And you can even practice just like this. So we can even probably let her just wander for a minute. And we'll see when she gets let loose here. She knows that Kayla has the treats. It's working time. But we'll give her a little free run around time. And when she's at some distance, which of course she wants to just kind of hang out with me right now, we won't even bother using that because that wasn't even a come command. It was just simply she just wanted to be over there. We'll wait till she gets a little distracted, walks away a little bit, and then Kayla's going to call her name. And that is, by now, a dog should know their name, especially when you keep on using that name. And so the key here is you say the name when they look at you. You then have their attention, then you give the command. The worst thing you can do is just start shouting commands at a dog when it's not paying attention, not looking at you, and is distracted. Trust me, it's just not going to go into their heads. It's like they're not even hearing it because they're so distracted by other things. And so we'll let her wander off for a minute. We'll see if we can get her to go away, and you'll see how Kayla's going to do it. It's going to do the same thing every time. She's going to say the dog's name, which is Tansy, and only if she looks at her is she going to give the command to come. And if she doesn't, we'll just wait a second until she does gain focus. So we'll let her, maybe I can even call her over to me. Tansy, come here, come over here. Am I exciting? Come on, yay! And I'll pet her and say hi. She did a good job coming over to me, so that's good. And we'll just, boom, there we go. And maybe now I'll try, even though I don't have a treat. I'm going to wait till she's kind of looking at me. Tansy, come. Yay! Very excited. And that high-pitched tone of voice, a lot of pets and, love when they come over to you. That helps them remember that whenever I hear that command come, something great happens. It's either she gets pet, she gets praised, or she gets a treat. And so working with treats is critical. And you can practice just like this. Do it in a fenced-in backyard or a small area. You can even do it in your living room. Perfect. And you'll see she's definitely responding to that word. And she's getting a treat every single time she comes to it. So this little exercise can be done usually, in the first couple days after maybe one of our trained dogs would come home to you. This is how you're going to want to practice at first so that they start developing that rapport with you. And it's key to use some really good high-quality treats with the come command. And it doesn't have to be an expensive treat, but it has to be high value to the dog, because you want this to be a command that they would run flying out of the woods from 100 feet away or more to get to you. So we kind of use a soft treat for most of our training, but it would be totally okay to use maybe like a piece of cheese or a piece of deli meat or some other soft, maybe a meat-based treat, not just some, dry cracker type treat, because that's not always too exciting for a dog. So you want a good payday for this kind of command. When they obey this, you want to make sure that they know they're doing the right thing here. And we'll do it a couple more times just so you can see. The key is, remember, you say their name, and only once they're looking at you do you give the command. And that's how it's done. If you wait to try this command, again, I'll just say it 100 times. If you try to only use this command when the dog is running after something, having a good time, chasing after a squirrel, or running out into the road, or something like that, it's not going to work for you because you haven't practiced and developed that relationship. But the key is start with short distances. You can even use a long leash attached to them. Totally okay. And then you can always kind of get their attention a little bit by just giving a little tug on the leash. Then they're looking at you, and then you can give the command. But of course, Tansy's doing very, very well with this command. I would have no problem walking through the woods here, walking through the fields, and at any time. And now that she's gotten used to this little game, you could even throw a distraction in, and you could probably break her from that distraction, and she'll still come when called because she's been so adjusted and used to sort of playing this game. And it's good to play this game on a fairly regular basis, even if you don't need to necessarily. It's just keep a bag of treats every so often, have a little training session, and give her the come command, and give her that reward as soon as she comes over to you. If you have no reward to give them, it's like somebody who's working without getting paid, and that's only going to last so long before they decide this bird or this toy or this person is much more interesting than you are. Perfect. Great job. Great job. Okay, good. We'll stop it there.